Hey guys, good wonderful morning, good wonderful night, good wonderful afternoon, wherever the hell you are. I hope you are having a really, really good time. I am Bella Amore, and this is my podcast, the second episode, figuring it out one song at a time. I am so excited for this episode, guys. Like, you genuinely have no idea. I'm gonna get into what we're gonna be talking about in a minute, but I thought I could start every episode by just checking in with where we're at, because where the hell are we at? How the hell are ya? How are ya? If you want to pause this video, tell me how you're feeling. Or if you want to comment down below how you're feeling, just have a little check-in. I feel like we get really caught up in the outside world that we forget to go in. So, how are you? Where are you at? I want to know genuinely. I personally am feeling so motivated to do everything that I've ever wanted to do, the podcast, and it is so great. I am just loving my life. I've been looking at investing my money. I've been listening to some podcasts, like learning all about that whole market to, better my wealth. I'm thinking about my future a lot more, kind of what I want to be getting out of it and what I want to be putting in to it as well. So yeah, I've just been loving everything. I'm so motivated to do all the things that I kind of don't necessarily want to do, but I kind of have to do as well, which is cool because I kind of am a really organized procrastinator, if that makes sense. Like, I'll think about it and I'll get ready to do it, but it just kind of sometimes takes me a while to get there. So yeah, I think I've kind of just been like, fuck that off, I want to do it, so let's just bloody do it, and I'm loving that. I will say that I do find it really hard to be motivated when nothing's going on, but there is a lot going on. With the EP, with some merch stuff I may be doing, with, the podcast, the tour, like, everything's happening, which is so awesome. I love it. I love being busy. I do feel I need to get a better balance, but that just comes with practice and that comes with time. So hell yeah. But today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like being an emerging artist, how I have loved it, things that I've hated, things that I would do differently, and hopefully give you guys some tips and some insight on how to go about your career if this is something that you want to do. And also just for your life in general. I feel like this doesn't have to be to music per se or a creative field or anything. It just can be for everything. I think some of these lessons are really, really valuable, and I hope you find them as such. So yeah, I'm going to be just taking you through my journey this far, how I'm feeling about it, and, maybe if this is something you want to get into, you can kind of see what it's been like. Yeah, I've been a musician for about 3 to 4 years now. I am not going to say professional just because it's not my main source of income. I do have 2 other jobs. RIP. But I am just going to say, like, my music career, since I've really started taking it seriously, it's been like 3 to 4 years. In those 3 to 4 years, I have done some fucking awesome things. I have toured with people like Benson Boone and Lime Cordiale. I've played a lot of Australian festivals. I've also played a lot of my own shows. I've worked in the studio with some really, really awesome people like Matt Corby and Cosmos Midnight. Yeah, I've kind of been around the block a little. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely way more things that I could be doing, but I feel that I've, given myself a leg. Like, I've got a little bit of a leg. And the reason why I tell you, kind of a little bit about my career thus far is because I want this episode to be credible to you. And I feel like just knowing, like, some things that I've done is really helpful to be like, oh, is that maybe something I want to do? Or is this podcast really not for me? Or if you just want to listen and learn more about, like, what the hell I've been through, then go for it, because I've been through a lot, bitch. Like, it has been hard out here, and I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that's basically what I've done. Before we jump into the nitty-gritty, I just want to preface that I am a signed artist, and I have been basically my whole music career. I'm pretty sure I signed to a label when I was 18. I think I was 18, 19, somewhere around there. So yeah, I've been assigned artist my whole career thus far. I have a manager and I have a booking agent. So a lot of these opportunities have come from, being in the right place at the right time. I also went to a music school when I was in year 11 and 12, which helped me make a lot of connections and form how to go about things in the music industry. So I have had a lot of great opportunities. I just want to say that because everyone's journey is going to be different, especially in a creative field. And I feel like me personally, I've been in a really, really good position and I'm very privileged and grateful to have those people backing me as well. Me personally, a label is great. I am someone that thrives on collaboration and my team are so bloody good. Like their creative minds are just so beautiful. And I honestly would be a lot further behind if it weren't for them. So I'm so freaking grateful to have them by my side, as well as my management. Like, I've honestly just hit the jackpot, okay? So I just want to say all of this because I think it's important to keep that transparency between us, especially if you are an aspiring musician and you don't have the support of, other people, within the industry backing you at the moment. It can be a lot harder. So I just want to say that I recognize where I'm coming from, and I low-key was kind of umming and ahhing about this video. I'm so excited to talk about, my journey and what's been going on and what I've faced and how I've struggled with stuff. But I almost was like, oh, are my struggles and my feelings invalid because I have a label and I have a management and I have a booking agent? And the answer I've come to is no, it's not, because I'm still a human being and I'm still going through all of these things as a person. And I'm still feeling all of these things and I think they have a place. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to share my struggles and stuff about that. Like, I'm not claiming to have done any of this on my own because it is really, really hard. Even with the support of, all these people backing you, it is really, really hard. So yeah, I just want to keep that transparency between us just so that you know where I'm coming from. Also, my hair just falls really flat. I got a new haircut, by the way. I love it. But my hair falls really, really flat. So if it falls flat and then you see it all puffed up in the next cut, it's because I'm literally doing this in the mirror. So don't mind that one. But yeah, let's just rip the band-aid off and go to the very start of my career. I'm going to say, for the purpose of this episode, my career started when I signed to my label, so about 18, 19. I don't freaking know how old I was, okay? So yeah, we're just going to say that it starts there. Now, I'm going to start with the struggles and the things that I've kind of faced and just my journey along that and through that. Just because it is hard. It can be really, really hard, especially as a person who is really, really sensitive and really vulnerable to just everything around her. It's a little bit of a nightmare. I will not lie to you. And I've done a lot of work to, better myself so that I can be in a position where I am spreading my music and my love and for the world and, all of that, because this is something that I really, really want to do, but it's taken me a while to get okay with that, to get okay with what comes with being a musician as well. And don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming to be some huge mother frickin', I'm not, okay? I am not. And that's fine. I will be one day, but I am not right now. But I have still, as I said, have done quite a few pretty big things that I think take a toll on the mind as well as being a really cool opportunity. So yeah, again, like I said, this is my perspective and this is just my journey so far. So yeah. So like everyone, I don't really know who I am right now. I'm 22. I still don't know who the fuck I am. I don't know what I like. I don't really know my boundaries. I'm learning them, but it has taken a lot of time and a lot of therapy to get to that point. So imagine an 18-year-old me being like, music, yay, being signed to a label, yay, ooh, fun, fun, fun. I was just so keen to be there that I was like, you know what? I don't even care what happens. Whatever anyone wants to do, fucking do it. Let's go. Like, I'm there. I just want to do this thing. And I think that's where I went wrong. I didn't have a clear idea of what I wanted to get out of music and what I wanted to put into music. I didn't really understand my why. I definitely have a lot better of a grip on it now, but back then I was just like, I'm so excited to be here and perform because I know it's what I love to do, that I just want to do that. But there are so many other things that come with that, and at the time I didn't know that. So when I started, I was like, you know what, everybody, like, just choose whatever, like, I'll be there. I was saying yes to everything, I was doing everything. I released my first single in 2022, which went so freaking well, like, oh my god, thank you if you have been here for that long, like, love you for that. Which is awesome, and the singles to follow were doing so well. I was getting so many great opportunities, streams were doing really well, all of that stuff, which was really, really cool at the time, and I was like, hell yeah, this is so sick, like, you know, something that I'm doing people are loving, and that's really, really cool. But it was also kind of tricky because the more that it went on, the more I was like, fuck, I don't know if this is the path that I want to take. I think it was more just the music I was doing and the way I was being marketed. I didn't really have a say in because I didn't know what I wanted. And I think that was kind of the biggest downfall of that period of time for me, because there are so many different layers to a person, and I feel like, you know, coming from like a marketing perspective, you kind of want like a niche or like a thing that person kind of fits into. And I feel like what I was being, you know, kind of fit into wasn't necessarily fully me. I feel like it was one part of me, but there were so many other parts of me that were being neglected. And to no one's fault, because I just didn't know what that part of me was. Like I said, I wasn't clear on what I wanted. I wasn't clear on what I was doing. So I feel like everyone else around me were like, hey, trying to give me a nudge to be like, is this, you know, kind of what you want? And me just being so blasé, I was like, fuck yeah, it is. Like, let's go. Turns out it wasn't. And I was kind of going on that way for about a year and a half. I also was struggling really badly with mental health issues. My anxiety was like at an all-time fucking high. I was struggling to travel, and that was when it was like at my peak. I think it was just right after COVID. Everything kind of just fucked everything for me, and then I got really, really comfortable being at home and not having to step outside of my security net. And I think that's also what played a really big part into my anxiety just like fucking peaking, like so hardcore. And so, you know, all of these really, really good things are happening, but while they're happening, my mental health is just like declining. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to navigate this. And I didn't have the tools back then to navigate it. Like, I was going to therapy and, you know, I was trying to read all these self-help books, but I think I also maybe bombarded myself with too much that I wasn't actually taking on any information that was useful to me. Because I was just like, everything that I can have, because I feel so shit right now, like, I will just take and I will hold. But I never did anything about it. And so while everything is kind of, you know, slowly going up, it got to a year and a half in, like 2023, I was booked in to do like a showcase and then a tour and then a festival tour and then another showcase. Great opportunities. Like, I was so fucking excited for them. It was a really, really great support slot, really aligned with what I wanted to do with people that I really, really loved. And the festival was awesome. And that was really, really fun. All that stuff. So this had probably been booked out for like maybe a month or 2 months over that time period. And it was like the first week happened and I was like, I don't think I'm okay. I think there's something in my body and my brain that's telling me I'm not okay, and I don't really know what it is, but whatever, like, I'll just push through. I had to cancel everything because I had such a massive burnout breakdown moment where I couldn't get on a plane. Mind you, all of that is happening in the background. All the anxiety, all the plain stuff that I've been working on was happening in the background. And I traveled, like, and I'd been okay traveling. So in my mind, I was like, you know what, maybe I'm ready for this. But it was just such a big toll on me that I was not expecting. And I shut down. My body shut down completely. I think for a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, I couldn't eat anything. I could barely sleep. I had to have a show playing all the time. And that's where Modern Family became my safety net. And it still is to this day. It's a really, really big comfort show for me. And I think I literally would have to play it all night and all day, and my partner came and he stayed with me, and even when he was here, like, I couldn't give him my attention because I felt so unsafe in my body and in my world. It was like really insane, and I've never experienced anything to that level before. And I think because I also didn't really know what was going on, I didn't know how to handle it, that just freaking sent me. Something was really, really not okay, and I wasn't aware to it, and I didn't know how to be aware to it. So ultimately my body just shut down, and it was a really, really bad time for me. And so in that time, I just took a big step back, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what has literally just happened? Because I don't know how to cope with all of this, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. And every area of my life just felt so muddled. And I think something that's really, really important for if you're starting out in music or, you know, anything like that, if you're starting out in a career where you have to be in front of people and you put yourself in front of people, I feel like it's really important to create a separate persona. I was so blended and I was so mixed because my music is who I am. Like, my music comes from my soul. I write from my experiences, you know, I write about how I'm feeling. So ultimately there is a lot of me in there. I didn't have another persona to kind of take on all the extra shit. The meeting people, the taking photos with people, having to network with people, that was just me. And because I'm such a sensitive person, that was really, really hard for me. And at the time, I didn't know that I needed that distinction. Mind you, I fucking love meeting people, and I actually really love networking. I love talking to people. I think it's so much fun. I just now have to step into a different version so that when I come home, I can just take off everything that I was wearing and just kind of sit back and be like, oh, okay, I can debrief from that now. Like, I can really just calm down, which was something that I didn't have in the past. So there's a little tip for you before we get into the actual tips. I think, you know, that was really, really hard for me. I took a really big step back. I took quite a bit of a break just because it was starting to affect my daily life, and that's not something you want. You don't want your career to affect your actual daily life negatively. So yeah, I've done a lot of work from then to now to be where I am and to share those experiences. Well, I was really, really embarrassed about all of that. I was really embarrassed that I'd been getting everything I wanted, and when I got what I wanted, it turned out to negatively affect me. And I felt like such a coward. Like, I really, really did. I felt pathetic. I felt embarrassed. I felt like a coward. And in hindsight, I feel like that happened because I wasn't on a path that was meant for me. I felt that I was on a path that I didn't necessarily, I didn't know what I wanted, but now I know that that wasn't for me. And I've been, you know, trying every single day from then till now to figure out what that path is, because I feel like having your intentions and your why is so important. And that was something, like I said, I never had. And I think that was really, really negative for me, and that really, really impacted me. So that was kind of like the biggest thing that happened to me in my music career thus far that's made me be like, oh, maybe I need to reevaluate some stuff. And that was a really, really big struggle. So that was struggle number one that I faced. And like I said, that might not apply to you because you might actually know what you want, or you might not be a highly sensitive person like I am, and that can take on that stuff. So that's not to say you shouldn't do all of those things. Those things are great. And if I had those opportunities now, which I am now, you know, getting and cultivating, I'm loving it. I'm so fucking keen. Like, I am there. Like, tour after that, after this, boom, I'm there. I just now know what I need and what I want to be okay in that moment. Another struggle that I've had as a musician is self-doubt. Holy hell. Self-doubt is a really, really big thing for me, and insecurity, because like I said, I've never been the kind of person that's just straight up confident. Like, I may seem confident, but inside and in my brain, I'm fucking reeling. Like, I'm going over stuff constantly, and I'm always comparing myself to other people, and I'm always comparing myself to like the trends that are going on in music right now, the music that I make, and where is that gonna fit? And you kind of think about all of these things from an analytical point of view, and while that can be really helpful, it's also really detrimental. And I feel like ever since I've become a musician, that has kind of just like gone up. I feel like naturally as people, we already have really big insecurities. But when you start building a career, those insecurities, at least for me, multiplied. Because now I wasn't just thinking about what I looked like. I was thinking about my strategies, about how my social content performs, about how my streams perform. Because unfortunately, those things matter sometimes. In regards to opportunities, people look to those things. They look to your popularity to book you on and to get you going and all of this stuff. So that is another really, really big thing that I feel myself, and I know a lot of other musicians have dealt with that as well, because it's such a common thing, because we all just want to live out our dream. And I feel like a lot of us think if someone else does it, that means we can't. I know I for sure have thought that. There are a lot of amazing Aussie acts that are freaking blowing up right now, and I'm loving it for them, because there is so much great music here in Australia. Like, if you don't know, fuck, get on that. I'm going to link a playlist in my description, an Australian playlist that I made, because it is just so good. And everyone here in Australia is really, really cool. Even while supporting these people and, wanting them to go further and watching them and just being so in awe, there also comes that other side where it's like, fuck, well, if they live down the road, why can't I do that? Like, why can't I be where they are? And I feel like naturally that just happens. And it sucks. That sucks. And for me, that has been one of my biggest struggles. Like I said, I love supporting people, and I'm the biggest supporter of just everyone that comes out of Australia. But at the same time, I feel the pressure now, because I'm like, oh, they're doing it. They're going really, really far. Where the hell am I? Like, I've done all these things in the past, but where the hell am I now? Like, what am I doing now? How am I trying to get there? And then naturally your brain starts to think of all these things of, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you could be doing that better. Maybe you need to write better songs. Maybe you need to be different. Maybe you just need to be better. And that sucks. And that's really, really hard. And that's really something that you need to navigate. And I would recommend navigating earlier on in your career while you can. This is why I said at the start of this episode, I feel like a lot of these points are just in general, because insecurities are something we face on a daily basis. Like, it's not only geared toward musicians or creative people. It's, people walking down the street. You could look at someone and be like, wow, they have freaking a 10-pack and I have nothing. So what the hell? It's just little things like that. So that's where going back to getting really, really comfortable with who you are and really secure within yourself is really important. And I'm not going to lie, it's my biggest issue. It's my biggest lesson that I am learning and that I work through constantly every day. I feel, especially being so submerged in the music industry, you're always seeing people go where you want to go, and it's like, damn, like, I love that so much for them, but fuck, this is hard because I want that to be me. And, I also feel like in saying that, there's also a place where that can actually have some value, and actually help you and help motivate you to maybe look into other ways of doing something, or to help give you a kick and a push to get there. So I think it's valid, but, when it's negative and it's like, oh, they're doing everything right, so I must be doing something wrong, I think that's where it becomes really detrimental. And I think a way that, we can make that work for us is, oh, they're doing something right. What did they do right? Or what worked for them that maybe I can apply for myself? I feel like that is also a really, really big tool, and that's really helpful. Another thing that I have really, really struggled with is online presence. Posting shit. Now, all musicians I know, all creative people, everybody, okay, I know that we hate this, and I know that it's really, really hard. But unfortunately, that is just what has been working at the moment. We're so chronically online that is that content is what gets through to people. But I think I find it hard for different reasons. Not actually creating the content. Like, I personally really love creating content. I think it's really, really fun. I think for me, my biggest struggle is what is oversharing and what is not, because I am an open book. Like, you can ask me anything and I'll honestly probably tell you, which is I personally love that because I follow people that are like that, and I don't know, it makes me feel like I get to know who they are a little bit more, but there definitely is a fine line, and that is one of my biggest struggles. I never know what is too much, and then, sometimes when you're too friendly, it invites this crowd of people that just expect things from you and expect you to always be online and always reply to them. And that is also really, really hard. Like, you can't constantly be on your phone, regardless of whether it's for, a business or whether it's for yourself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that is a really fine line. And I would just, again, have some boundaries with that. I think that's really, really important to kind of have and say these things to people that support you or to your followers, or just being like, hey dude, I need this sometimes, taking a little break, or however that looks to you. Like, you do your thing and you make it work for you. But yeah, I think that's just something that I've found that I've had to kind of tweak over the years, and I'm slowly getting it. Like, I'm slowly understanding. And with all of these things, like, I'm still facing them all myself, and I've been doing this for 3 to 4 years, so it's going to take time. And it's probably going to take another 3 to 4 years for me to get okay with it, which is cool. Like, I'm here for the ride. I don't really give a fuck. We've talked a little bit about the struggles, and like I've said, there's definitely more that pile onto that. But I don't want this whole video to be negative, so we're going to leave that there, and we're going to transition into the yays, into the hell yes, because there is so much. Like, there are so many things that are just so great and make it worthwhile. And you really got to ask yourself if the good outweighs the bad. I think that is what it comes down to ultimately, especially with being a musician. Like, do the rewards mean more to you than going through all that shit? And for me, it does. I think I wouldn't be anywhere without music, and I wouldn't be anywhere without sharing music. And I guess I also wouldn't be anyone without music. I think music to me is something that helps me understand more about myself and what I'm going through. It's kind of like a form of therapy, and I feel like sharing that also helps other people to be like, oh, I'm kind of feeling something similar, like maybe this is what's going on, or just genuinely liking music. I think it is such a beautiful connector for people, and I wouldn't be anyone. I wouldn't be the same if I were to never do music ever again, or to never share my love for it and my art with people ever. I think, and for some people that's not the case. Some people go through this and they're like, fuck dude, I don't want to deal with that again. That is so fun. But me personally, I would. I would go through it again. And trust me, I still go through it. Like, I still have days where I can't eat, or when I travel, sometimes I can't eat because I'm like, fuck, I'm so anxious. Like, I can't keep anything down, which is sweet. I just work around it. I have juices instead because that's actually a hack. I don't know. For me, it's so much easier to keep a juice down than like solid food when I'm feeling anxious. I don't know, super random. Some of the yays are the feeling that you get when you're performing. Oh my gosh, like, for me, performing is the most present I will ever be. And I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it multiple times again. To me, presence is being on stage. I don't know, there's just something, it like overcomes my body, and I just am so whole in that moment, and I love it so much. And there is no better feeling in the world Yeah, there is no better feeling in the world than being up on that stage and just making something and just sharing something that you made with people. There is also no better feeling than people singing it back to you. I remember I had a show earlier this year where I just played an acoustic set up in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. And in Brizzy, I played to like, I think there was 70 people that came, and it was so freaking beautiful. But everyone knew the words. And I almost started crying. I just remember, I'm gonna cry now. And sometimes you're in the moment so much that you can't hear what's going on. But then I heard it and I was like, oh my gosh, like this whole room is echoing with people singing my songs back to me. Like, it was so insane. And people were singing unreleased songs, which is like, what the fuck, they're not even out. And to me, that is just so much more exciting, and that makes everything so much more worth it. And so I'd do it again. I would do it again, and I would do it over. Another really big yay for me is how my views have changed, and how going through all of that stuff has actually been really, really beneficial and helped me get to where I am today in my mindset. Mind you, like I said, there are days that I still have where I'm like, fuck everything. Like, I can't do this. But for the most part, I'm loving it, and I'm, really good. And I think returning to baseline and how quickly you can come back to just being like chill is the ultimate goal, and I feel like I'm slowly getting there. Like I have tools now and things that I do where if I feel a certain way, I can bring myself back. And I think that is really, really helpful. The reason why I tie it to music and I have it in this episode is because I think when you're traveling and when you're meeting so many people, you're coming in contact with so many different energies. And again, as someone who's really sensitive, I take on everything. So being able to, return to baseline and know when I'm also on the edge of a burnout to stop and take a breath and maybe just, resort for a day or two is also so freaking helpful. It helps keep your mental clear. It helps you to be able to write better songs, to be in a more creative mindset and a creative space to, fully achieve what it is you are here on earth to achieve. So that's why I put it in this video and I tie it into music, because you got to have a really, really strong mindset to be perceived. Yeah, and in saying that as well, I think a routine and being balanced, or having a balancing routine, let's just put the two together, is really, really important. So I've got a morning routine that basically sticks wherever I go. Being able to be spontaneous, as my therapist has said to me before, is really important. Still working on that one. Give me some time. It's hard, okay? I like everything to be structured. I like to know what's going on. But at least having one thing that you do every single day is really, really important, so that when you're traveling and when your day and your routine is maybe knocked out, you can still have that one thing that grounds you. And for me, that is my morning routine. Like, no matter where I am, that will not change, and I will not budge on that. So I think having some non-negotiables in your life is really, really important, especially if you're on the move and your scenery is changing quite a bit. Not that my scene is changing every single freaking day, but just when it does, it's really important to have those things to keep you grounded, and you know what I'm saying. Another yay from my music journey thus far is that I finally feel like I'm starting to believe in myself more. At the start of, my career, when I first released my first song, I got a lot of troll comments on Instagram and TikTok that really, really upset me, and I didn't at the time understand that this was just like a thing that people did. I look at videos now and I'm like, ooh, this poor person, like, they're getting all of this hate, but it's just like, people are bored, like, people just love to hate, like, so what? And that actually really affected me at the time, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, like, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like now, regardless of the outcome and regardless of the feedback that I get, I believe in what I'm doing. And I think it's because I took that time there after my breakdown to really evaluate what it is that I love and really center the things that I value. And that is why I think I am loving what I'm doing now, and I'm believing in myself more, is because it's really what I want, and it's really who I am. And that's all I ever really want to do, is I just want to put who I am into a song. I don't know. Or I just want to like I said, I just want to figure out who I am through music. And I think now I'm finally being so open and honest with myself that I'm able to do that, which I think is leading me to be more excited about what I'm doing and more excited and more motivated to do some stuff. So that is a really, really big yay. And I think if you can really center your values and your core beliefs before you get into your career and before you start doing it and not figure it down the line, that is super beneficial, super beneficial. Now, I have been talking for a lot and my voice is actually getting really hoarse, which is not good. I am going to have to do some vocal things after this, which is fine because like I've kind of been a little bit sick anyways, so and I was singing Folded all day yesterday by Kalani. I am obsessed. I haven't listened to it this like today yet and I need to do it. I have them folded. Meet me at the door. I lay a burning shirt, been running a fire. All in a fire, already burning a fire. I lay a burning. Anyway. You get the gist. I feel that throughout this episode, I've kind of been giving tips and tricks along with what I'm talking about. But there are a few things that I just want to reiterate, just in case they got missed or lost along the way of me talking about my shit. I know that I can be a little bit everywhere, so I just want to put it here nice and plainly for you guys. And just give you a few tips that really, really helped me and that that really just helped me. And that might help you too. If I have not said it enough, I'm going to say it again, but get really, really clear on what it is you want. Why are you doing what you're doing? What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to put into it? What are your intentions? I feel like that is just the base. And then every time, you feel yourself going a little bit astray, you can always come back to that. Just get really tight on your core, on your why. Why are you doing said thing? Okay, I feel like that really, really helped me understand what it is I want to achieve with my music and why I'm doing it, because it's hard. The base is so important. It's like everything, and I know people have said it before, but the foundation of anything is really, really important, and you always know you can come back to it. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is don't chase perfection, just chase completion. I feel like this is another thing that I really, really struggle with. I want everything to be perfect. When I'm writing a song, I want every lyric to be that lyric. I want every melody to be that melody. But that usually ends with me not finishing songs, and it has heaps and heaps of projects just there being waited to be completed. Just complete the damn thing. You can always go back. Chris, a producer I love working with, told me once that lyrics are until they aren't. Like, so simple, but it didn't click in my brain because I was just so stuck on what to write and, how to write it that I was like, oh, I just need it to be perfect. Like, I need it to make sense for me in my brain, but it's like, you don't need it to be perfect. You just need it to be completed. So just complete the damn thing, then you can come back to it, and then you can perfect these little areas and tweak these little parts that might not sit with you. Tip number 3 kind of ties into the first tip, but just stay true to who you are and what it is you're doing. Especially in a creative field, I feel like there are a lot of ways you can go and people can kind of pull you every which way, especially when you start to succeed. But you don't want to lose sight of the why of who you are and what you're doing there. I think it's really, really easy to get caught up in all these other things that starts to become really muddy. And that is like the whole base of your foundation. So don't go changing that. It's like if you build a house on brick, you're not going to try and take the brick out and fucking put sand there or like put another thing there. It just doesn't work. So just stay true to yourself because it is worth it and you'll feel way more accomplished, I feel. At least I do. Again, all my own perspective. Number 4 kind of ties in with the first and second one, low-key, but listen to your body. When you have had enough, you will typically know. There will be little signs saying, hey, help me, I don't like this thing that we're doing, And I also would get really clear on what is uncomfortable and what is fear. versus what is actually really harming you. It is a really, really hard distinction to make, but it's really important that you kind of get clear on that. Maybe even if you just look back at your past struggles and try and understand what was happening in that moment, what you could have done to not get to that point. But listening to your body is so important. Also, I feel like this is a lot easier said than done, just because I feel like you got to put a lot of work in to actually understand what your triggers might be, or, you know, again, that discernment between what is really, really hurting you and what is just fear in your mind. So that will take time, but yeah, just listening to your body and really, really getting clear on that and really understanding what it is you need in moments of struggle or moments of stress, and how you can kind of eliminate those moments. Really important. I think we're up to number 5, so I'm just going to roll with that one. But make connections and try to collaborate as much as you can. Again, this might not apply to everyone because you might not actually work best with other people, but I feel like we only know what we know, and this is something I say all the time. I'm pretty sure I've said it in a lot of interviews just because I'm so strong on this, but we only know what we know, and someone else can really help shape our mindset or can really contribute to something that we might be struggling with. I find that especially in lyricism, when I'm getting in those moments of, oh, this needs to be like this or that needs to be that, and I can't quite pull myself out of it. If I'm working with someone, they're like, hey dude, that's actually fine. Like, let's go on to the next part, or maybe let's try this, or look at it from this perspective. And that's why I think collaborating is really, really important and can help expand your creativity to a whole new level. And it's something that's really, really helped me on this journey so far. And I look forward to much more collaboration in the future. I just love it. I think working with people is so sick, and like going to their shows and, you know, just forming friendships as well. Connection and friendships and communities. So, you know what? Maybe this is number 6. No, this ties in with that. Making connections and having a community and creating a community or being a part of a community is so important. And that is what is going to help you so freaking much on this journey. At least for me, it really did. Or I'm understanding that it is helping more now. And that is actually something that I really, really need and I really value. Yeah, so look into collaborating, look into making connections and friendships, because life is way more fun when you have friends. And number 6 is finding people that you really admire their trajectory of their career or the way that they do certain things. I personally think that we choose our inspirations because we see a little bit of ourselves in them, and that makes it feel a little bit more achievable. At least personally, I know I do that. There are multiple people that I love because I just love their career and I love the way that they've done certain things, but I also see a little bit of myself in them, which I think is really, really cool. And to me, it makes it feel more achievable. It makes it feel a little bit more like reality. In saying this, I feel there is a really big difference between idolization and admiration. I personally don't idolize anyone because I think it's fucking weird, and I don't think that humans and people are meant to be idolized. I think we're meant to be admired for the stuff that we're able to create and the things that we're able to do, and maybe the courage that we have to do things that others don't. But I don't think we are to be idolized for that, and I think that's where it can get in people's head, and that's where it becomes like a whole different thing. And I feel like that's where a lot of people lose the plot. Again, this is my own perspective. I could be so wrong in that, but for me personally, I've just never seen idolization go well for any party involved, you know? It just feels weird to me. So just choosing people that you admire and that you really like their stuff, I think that's really cool. And inspiration is always warranted. It's always needed. It's always wanted. Inspiration is sick, and I think you should get inspired, biatch. And there we have it, episode 2. I am in pain. I literally taste blood in my throat. I don't think that's a good thing. So I'm going to end it on that note because I feel like I could talk forever, but that is why I'm going to make another episode. Ugh. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I really hope you gained some insight and some stuff that maybe you didn't know before or that you'd never thought about like that before. This was really, really fun to talk about. I'm so bloody excited to proper delve into the podcast and make more episodes. So yeah, I hope you liked what you listened to. I just want to say a really big thank you for listening. Like I said in my intro, I've been really scared to make this podcast just because it feels weird, and being perceived like that is just a really odd thing, but I'm really excited. And yeah, and thank you for all your support. The love and the feedback has been so beautiful with this, and I'm really, really excited to see where it can go. Yeah, so thank you very much. And if you want to listen to any of my music, you can. I will link everything below. I'm also going on tour in August, which, wait, yeah, in less than a month. Oh my gosh. So if you want to come to that, that would be so freaking awesome. I'm going to the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. So please come and meet me there. I am putting on a really, really cool show. I'm really excited for what is to come. So yeah, all the links will be in my bio. If you want to pre-save the EP as well, please feel free to do that. If you want to subscribe, I don't know. What the hell did PP even... I just said PP. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I will see you next episode. Peace.